This is my alter ego right here, is I'm the culture doctor. And one of my specialties is the ability to get to the root cause of the problem. We're not treating symptoms on this stage. We're getting to the root cause of the issue. What do you want your doctor to do when you come into the doctor's office? Tell me what the problem. Why is my knee hurting me? Don't just give me drugs. Why is my knee hurting me? What is the root cause of the knee problem? What is the root cause of the migraine? What is the root cause of the issue? That's a great doctor. A great doctor isn't someone that knows how to prescribe medication. That's the second step. What's the root cause? Okay? So, I'm in my doctor's, by the way, I love it. Suiting me well. Fits me great. Who wants to take the stage first? We'll come sit over here. Welcome to my office.
Hi, I'm Hani Wolshansky, mama of 4 and creator of the School of Excellence system. And I'm on a mission to help early childhood leaders build and sustain schools of excellence. So if you want to create a collaborative culture, build efficient systems in your school, and design an environment that can grow your team, then you're in the right place. In the last 15 years that I've been working in the early childhood field, I've become deeply passionate of helping leaders with their mindset, their skills, the tools, and the strategies to build their schools. So each week, I'll share strategies, advice, coaching, and inspiring interviews. I know that you want to create a ripple effect in your school and your life. So let's do this together.
So I want to know if there's a metric or a time when you know it's time to let staff go, right? We hold on and I've coached and I've coached and I've coached. What is the measure of, is this good enough, or is it time to let that person go?
So I need a little bit more context, okay? So again, part of diagnosing the problem is we need context and framing because like Todd was saying, context, let's see who listened. Context matters, right? It matters in our diagnosis. So give me a specific thing and let's create some context around that.
Okay, say you have a staff we have staff that is continually late. They've always got an excuse. We've done the coaching of, why are you late? And they continue to be late, or it improves for a few weeks, and then they go back to being late. But it affects our ratios, our ability to meet licensing standards. When is it, this is enough, and how long do we continue to coach and have these conversations where they don't take accountability to fix it?
So my first question is, what type of conversations have you had already with this teacher?
Well, I know the director has written them up more than one time.
Okay.
But we've also had the conversation of kind of that executive functioning. Like, you know, maybe it takes you longer in the morning to get ready than you think you need. So could you set your alarm clock earlier? Could you go to bed earlier? Are you eating well? Are you doing the self-care necessary to be able to be here on time?
How do they respond to that?
Ugly cry.
So you just said something great, right? You were coaching executive functioning, the teacher's struggling with some time management, some executive functioning. And so when we make our first attempt at giving them a strategy to start coming on time, they exhibit one of the first shields of a difficult conversation, which is crying. Now, crying, this is going to be my diagnosis thing here. So in every conversation that we have with people, especially with staff, there are 4 shields of a difficult conversation: crying, blaming, deflection, and victimhood. So anytime you have a conversation with a teacher and you're going to try to hold her accountable to something, she's going, or he, I keep on saying she, is going to pull out one of these shields. Crying, start blaming somebody else. Deflection, it's not my issue, right? How many of us did deflection here while we were here, right? It's not my problem. Or victimhood. Always to me, my life is so crazy. You don't even understand what I have to put up with in the morning, right? We all got our stuff going on, Okay, we all have stuff going on. So crying. Now, the first thing I want to say about when we're looking at shields are data. Crying is good. It's data. It tells you where this person is holding emotionally and mentally and their capacity to accept feedback, right? And so you've had this conversation, she starts crying. What happens when the tears come? Tell me honestly, what do you do?
We all shut down. It is the ugliest crying that I've ever seen. I'm talking about tears and snot. It's uncomfortable to be here.
Okay? And so you're in an uncomfortable position. Someone is falling, scatter running, right? She did professional makeup that day, so she's got everything rolling. And you're in an uncomfortable position. And so you're shutting down or she's shutting down?
I think at that point, the conversation is, we've already talked about it. You feel bad, you're crying, and that ends up being the end of the conversation. And then it gets better for a few weeks.
Because there's guilt. After the cry, there's guilt.
And then release.
And there's shame because I cried.
Yeah.
So now let me do some cover up, but then we're back because we didn't get to the cause of it, right? But your question is actually different, so repeat your question.
My question is, when have we talked about it enough? Right, we always talk about retention, we want to hold on to staff, but when is it no longer healthy to hold on? When is it time to go? When have they had enough chances to get it?
Right.
So the write-up is one of the chances, right? And they have like a certain, whatever is the standard, but there's no hard and fast rule when it comes to when it's time to let someone go, because for every single teacher, it depends on where she's holding right now. But there are a couple of guidelines that we're going to follow. One of the first guidelines is the next conversation that we have, we're going to come in from a different channel. We actually have a script of that in the workbook. And the channel that we're going to come from is we're setting the frame. I know this is going to be a difficult conversation because we've actually had this conversation before. And we can actually do this conversation with our eyes closed. Because I'm going to say this, you're going to say this, I'm going to say this, right? How many of you have, disagreements with your spouse you could do it with your eyes closed? Right? You know exactly what's happening next, right? We've had this fight so many times, like I know exactly what's happening next, right? You could do the same thing with your staff, right? And so you set the precedence, right? I know this is a difficult conversation and I know you're going to cry and I have tissues here, but we are going to get through this conversation because we need to come to a solution about how to solve this problem. And here's why. We are a school of excellence. A school of excellence is whatever you wrote in that definition. We're growing, we're changing, we're constantly evolving. And so even though something's really hard for us right now, I know that you have the capacity inside of you to push yourself. And so we're going to get through this conversation. So the moment the tears start coming, if it's really hard for you, you could say, you know what, I'm going to give you 2 minutes, I'll be back. Walk out of the room, breathe yourself, and come right back in, right? Because what happens is and this is why they're shields. She knows you're going to stop the conversation the moment those tears come out. Right? Not this time. We're staying in this conversation. We're doing this. We are doing this. As hard as uncomfortable it's going to be, we are doing this. Now, after you've shown her that thing, then and she's still not showing up and she's still not rising, that's when the conversation is, you know what? I know that you like being here. I know you want to be part of this team. This is a team that's constantly growing. And right now I see you're in a place, you're not ready for this. You're not ready for this challenge. Now, she might push back, and there have been directors, no, I am ready. Tell me what I could do, right? Well, show me that you could do this for 3 days. So you're going to have that different dialogue. So is that answering your question? Is that helpful? I'm sensing it is a little bit, but I want to, okay, amazing. Give her a hand.
If you like this video, make sure to subscribe using the bell so that you get notifications when we release videos twice a week.